So welcome to another amazing interview on the Thrive series, Thriving in 2023. Today, I'm so excited. I have Dorothy Rotondo with me, and I'm going to let her say her titles. We were just talking about this, and they're perfect. And I'd love for her to explain them because they really have something to do with her thriving. Welcome, Dorothy. Tell us more about how you describe yourself.
Thank you, Aimee. So, how I am officially describing myself is that I'm a business matchmaker and a a communication consultant. So, it's just a fancy way of saying that I help you optimize your business strategies with personality science for the consultant area. And then the business matchmaking, I get these intuitive hits where I see these golden paths. And if you say something in particular, or if you're looking for something in particular, I get those hits and I will just match you with the perfect person. Because in my HD, my human design, my cross is serendipity. So everything happens at the right time in the right place. So when that happens, I match you in a room, you guys take off, and beautiful things always happen. It's crazy.
And I can vouch for that. And this is part of why I wanted to have Dorothy on in this series, because I've experienced this firsthand with Dorothy. So one of the things Dorothy does is run a group called Morning Warriors, and we can tell more about that too. But so that's how I came into her world. And here's the thing about Dorothy that I want everyone to experience in regards to thriving, because we all have superpowers. We know that. And when we're acting in our superpowers, our zones of genius, we can't not thrive. And so Dorothy does this just seamlessly. So when she talks about the business matchmaking, Dorothy will get to know a person, and like, she really listens. She takes it all in, whether you are recognizing that she's doing that or not. She listens to you, what you do. At the same time, she's going to her database in her head, in her magical head, and saying, oh, I know somebody that you need to meet. And so at the end of the conversation, she will, or, however you meet Dorothy, she will say, oh, now that you described that to me, I've got somebody you need to meet. And I'm telling you, every time she's done this with me, it was absolutely somebody I needed to meet, that there was a collaboration, a friendship, a number of things that this connection has hit on. And so I'm like, that's amazing because she's not only a networker, she can go to these network events, which now so many are online. And she's able to collect all that data and then come back to her tribe, her morning warrior tribe, and connect people. And these turn into business relationships, all of these things, like I was just saying. And it's really magical. So there's a couple of things, like, how did you know this was a superpower? How and when did you figure this out, Dorothy?
So I had an accountability partner. Well, I'm just calling him that. He is many things. And he pointed it out when I told him my framework of what I'm doing. He's like, that's your power, right? I'm like, no, everybody can do this. I can. Like what you do, like how we met. Who would have thought of that way? I'm like, I don't know. I thought it was obvious, right? And so he said something, and then two other people said something. I was like, oh, is this my zone of genius? Is this my powers? So, of course, I went down the human design rabbit hole and found out it is one of my powers. I was like, okay. And so I actually went in test phase and I tested it out. And I was like, hey guys, I'm going networking. Who needs anything? Call me out. Tell me what you need. And some people did. They took my opportunity. They did. And boom, I was like, hey, and it was magical. Actually, last week, somebody reached out back to me because I already matched her. I don't remember what she said in the networking event. I didn't really listen, but I had this hit. I was like, you need to meet this person. They met, beautiful things happen, like massive things. It's one of my success stories I just love. And she's like, hey, I need another one. I was like, oh, got a beautiful hit right there. It was a perfect match. I just heard from her this morning. And she's like, dude, this is my ideal person right here at this stage. And what she needs is what I can do. I was like, yeah, I know. It's just, it was bright and perfect. And that's when, like, all these morning warriors in there, they just said, oh my God, thank you, Dorothy, this match and this match. Everyone's getting clients, collaborations. I was like, okay, this has answered my test phase. And so I finally took up the title of business matchmaking, thanks to Heather Bryce. And I said, all right, this is it. This is my power. And I accepted it. Because I always thought it had to be something really cool and fancy and like Marvel, like you can fly, but in a unique way. I was like, this is something. This is definitely a superpower that most people really cannot do at a certain level. And I love it. So I think I answered the question. I've got
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I think it kind of to me, hearing you say that reminds me of sometimes how we feel about like purpose. Like, what's your purpose? It's kind of like that superpower. Like, I don't know, I can't fly yet. I don't know. Do I have a purpose? And it's usually the most like natural thing to us that we don't think is some special ability until someone else shines a light on it, or we get some other confirmation, affirmation.
Yeah.
And then we go, oh, that actually is a cool thing. So now on to the other part of your title, the personality part. Tell us more about that.
So I have always, growing up, always had trouble communicating my words. I was told, hey, this is what Dorothy actually means. Like I'm talking a different language. Like I'm speaking English. I said the same thing as you did. Maybe not as cool, but grammar like. But anyone could understand it. Unless you knew me personally, nobody understood what I said. So that led throughout my whole entire life. And I actually stopped using my voice. I was really quiet. I was very introverted. I was never like this unless we were really close. And I survived a car crash in 2017. So that led me to saying, all right, I need to do more impact. What is my mission here on earth for that impact? And everything kept leading up to something. And so 3 years later, the personality came into play. And Bank, it's called Bank. It's a personality science. And so from there, I was like, you know what? Let's go down this rabbit hole. Something is calling me. I went down. I loved it. I forgot about it. 6 months later, like Tony Robbins was there at this event. And so during that phase, my body was outside. My soul was outside my body. And I was just looking down and nothing was connected. And so 6 months later, after he did this meditation thing, I forgot what it was. I had a TBI. My soul just went back to my body. And then this beautiful Facebook, matched me with somebody that told me about this bank thing again. I was like, oh yeah, let's do this. And I went through this masterclass and I learned it. I was like, this is it. This is literally telling me my blueprint of not just why they buy or like the buying behaviors. It was so much more than that. And so going down that rabbit hole has led me to perfect communication through personalities, because I even tested. I had no skills, no selling, no marketing, no business, you name it. I had zero skills besides customer service. So I learned everything at once. Don't do that. Learn one skill at a time. Don't be like me and just buy everything and be like, oh. So I learned social media and then I learned personality. And so what I did was I learned the social media aspect first, and I was too afraid to use the personality. I don't know why. It said I was supposed to be a coach. So I was like, all right, let me coach people on the social media, how to get leads. Nobody said yes. I'm like, this is all about saying yes, and I'm not even using that. So I said, all right, I'm going to give it 30 days. Let's start fresh. And so I stacked up with the social media skills I had for lead generation, and I added bank, and people were saying yes, yes, yes. And what I've noticed, my audience were nurturing. So they wanted the stories, they wanted the impact, they wanted to really know who I was as a person. When I was talking beforehand, it was information, the data, this and this. Nobody wants to know that. And I was talking to the wrong audience. So when they started saying yes to me, I was showing up as me and just telling them, hey, I'm trying this new thing, or I'm doing this event and I'm doing this and this. And it was like, oh, I want to meet you. Oh, let's get on a call. Oh, yes, I want your service. Oh, yes, please help me. I'm like, what's going on? And so in my first month of that, I made 3K. And then I shut everything down. I'm like, all right, this is the tool I'm going to use. And I made 3K in August of 2020. That's when I shut everything down. And from September all the way up to this September, so 2 years. Oh my gosh, it has been 2 years.
Wow.
I never actually did math. So 2 years later of really diving deep into the codes, the layers, the emotional intelligence of it, everything you could imagine, I have become unstoppable with bank. You can actually measure yourself using the tools. And I just tested during those years, tested a little bit, and I saw the results, and I test something else and use the results. And what I've noticed, the Morning Warriors birthed itself. I had no idea about it. And I didn't realize after, I think 6, 8 months, my accountability partner was like, this is a service you do, right? You just pull people in. Like, no, I can't do that. He's like, you're cultivating a community. I'm like, no, I can't do that. But 25 people at that time was in this little chat and meeting each week. I was like, oh, but that's nobody would buy that. Like, no, it's just for fun. So after 6 more months,
too easy, too natural to be right.
It was too easy. And the people were having rapid results, not just in their business, but in their personal life, even internal personal life. People was like, oh, that's my code. I'm not in alignment. And so they shifted, and one actually changed their code because they were stressed out. I was like, yeah, I figured. I don't want to judge you because there's no judging. So you get to find who you are through those codes. And so yeah, Morning Warrior just came to be, and the personality has always been there and helped me. I bankify everything. I see it in my dogs. I see it in people. I see it in objects, trees, plants. They all have this personality. And even in movies, we would guess, oh yeah, this character shows up this, and this character is this. And we would just play with it. And so that's when I noticed, yeah, this is my calling. And then I got stuck in the HD rabbit hole, the human design rabbit hole. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be an expert in this, but I will connect people for that piece, but I'll still have what I'm really good at, because I spent over 6,000 hours in those 2 years digging and going deep into each code, understanding, being one with each code too. I got 4,000 more hours to go, but I want to become that expert because now I am. So now I see things faster. I'm like, oh, how do people who don't see it faster, how can I teach them? So that's my next battle of showing them from the beginning how I did it. And now I just tell people, I realize I don't like to coach them. Yeah. I am a certified coach and trainer for them, but I'm not really good at coaching. I'm really good at telling and seeing the strategies and then you implement it, and I'll help you and guide you through, because I've done all these testing before. It's nothing new. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's a long story short.
Oh, that's great. So there's going to be information under this video too, so that how people can learn more about the bank, and of course connect with you. But do you want to give us like a quick overview about what those letters stand for in bank?
Yes, that's actually a good idea. So I have personality cards that I use. I do carry them around in real life because for me, my introvert side comes in and says, I don't know who you are. And I stay quiet and I observe and listen. And then I really just decode them based off their presence. And once I know it, I'm like, and I talk really fast, right? So now I'm like, hey, do this first. And they're like, okay. And then I can talk.
Yeah. Oh,
So
that's a nice introduction to it. Yeah.
yeah, when I first got started, I knew no one in my neighborhood. And it was not the house we live in now, but my apartment. And so I think it was like 2 weeks later, one person was throwing a cookout party, and I knew another one besides him. And I had these cards that just came in. I was like, let me take 2 shots first. I was like, hey, I'm doing this thing. I don't know anything about it. Just do this. And I told them what to do. And then I found out each code, and they're mostly red and yellow. And I was like, all right, I know how to talk to you. I'm good. So it definitely is an icebreaker, especially if you're shy. And I'm not as shy as anymore because I kind of stepped out of it. But there are times when I don't want to talk. And I'm like, I need your code.
It's like this little bridge, right? To
Yes.
start. Yeah.
Yeah. Because once I know your code, I know exactly who you are as a person. And I know how to handle you. If you're stressed out, if you're just in excitement, if you're in alignment, I know exactly how to handle you and why. I don't give you any judgment. And I have more patience. Like, you know how people snap? I don't, because I'm like, oh, because he's in the knowledge or she's in the blueprint or something. And I was like, okay, this is why this person's this. And so I get to just do that really super fast
Yeah. Oh
because
my
of all
gosh.
the years of practice.
That just makes me think, like, talk about thriving. Like, your understanding how you just described, um, in a short amount of time, like if you even just hand those cards to people and they tell you like what order they would put them in, s- suddenly you've got information without any judgment, and you've got like a plan about how to move forward in this conversation, or what words to use, or what. And like, wow, that is thriving on so many levels,
Yeah.
social and, so many levels. That's awesome.
Yeah, I kind of scare some people because when I read it back to them based off their code, they're like, were you stalking me? How do you know
How do you
that?
know me?
Like, I didn't know you before this. I was like, it's
Yeah.
in your code. Like, seriously. And I actually use my ability as a empath to feel into it and understand who they are at this emotional level. I just speak as if I'm just getting channeled in. Sometimes I don't even know what's coming out, and I change it every time.
Yeah.
It's just like, hey, this is more for you than me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And then suddenly people feel seen, they feel heard,
exactly.
and our defenses come down.
Yeah. And I realize when people don't use any personality or get to understand that person, as a buyer, as somebody seeking information, it's like, no, that's not what I asked for. And then they repeat themselves. I'm like, you're just repeating. You're not saying it in a different way. You're not actually going based off of my values. You're just reading a script. And it's so unsoul like, as
Yeah.
if they don't have a soul. I'm like, but I like what you do. Come on. Like, this is not you.
Yeah. Well, it'd be like going to somebody's house for a meal, and if they served you everything they knew that you didn't like that would be like, why are you doing this? Instead of
We have
saying,
that
I know that you like these things. Here you go.
exactly. And that's how I treat with everybody in the Morning Warriors too. I know their code, so I get to treat them personally beyond the chat. And they're like, how did you know? I was like, I know your code. That's it. I just know your code. I know everything about you.
I know.
Now give me your human design. I know a little bit more. And then give me your other personality. Oh, it layers, man. It layers.
Yeah.
All right. So with these 4 magical cards, it's called Bank. Bank stands for blueprint, action, nurturing, and knowledge. And so a blueprint is someone who loves structures. They love the system and the processing. These are the ones who need those step-by-steps. They need to have something in place first in order to move on. They're like your OCD people. Have you ever heard that? OCD? Yeah. When I'm overwhelmed, OCD kicks in so bad.
Mhm.
I was sick and I couldn't go to sleep because I had to go downstairs and organize the leftover Halloween candy in separate piles. And then I
that's how
slept
you
like
knew
a
you were
baby.
overwhelmed.
Yeah. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to tell this story. Like, I was dreaming about it.
Yeah.
That's how bad it was. And so we have the red card, and that's your action. Those are the ones who are the entrepreneurs, the go-getters, the one who's moving really fast and want those opportunities. They love it. They're quick and they're fast. So when you get an action, don't give them everything. Just give them what they need. Give them the price. Don't be afraid of giving them the price. Just give them the price. Boom. They will decide. If it's a no, move on because they have already decided. And these are the people some people are afraid of because they move too fast, but it's honoring that speed and holding into your own energy that really gives that dynamic. Because I do actually have a very high action in my group, and she is a wonderful woman, and she is definitely high action. And most people are scared or intimidated. Yeah. But at the same time, you get to know that person code, the full code, and says, all right, I understand why you're doing this. Because our next code is actually a nurturing. Nurturing, like me and Aimee, or Aimee and I, whatever the proper grammar is, sorry, knowledge, is that is that we wear our hearts on our sleeve. We are open, we're honest, we tell you what's on our mind. We love to know more about you as a person on a very, very, very soul-based. And we love to build our relationship first. Before we do any business, before we do anything else, who are you? And if you don't know who you are, we want to fix you. And there's so many different personality types of a nurturer too, different sides for any code, but that is mostly the umbrella. And so we have our knowledge ones. And so the knowledge types loves to learn. They're the ones who go down the rabbit hole and just learn, learn, learn. But these people need that bigger picture. So if you have that 50,000 view, like a bird's eye view, they're in. They just need to know that. They will go diving deep. And when I said, I'm sorry for knowledge, that's my grammar. They're very precise on their words. So if you are very action or very nurturing and your grammar is not in key, they might not even want to follow you or mess with you because it does bother them. That's their OCD. Some of them are relaxed, they've learned, but some of them are not. My boyfriend teases me all the time about it. But he does it in a good way to help me be more aware of what I say and how I can fix it to really delegate myself to the knowledge, not to change who I am, but to improve on who I am for others to understand. And that's the power of Bang, is to really understand their perspective. I make sure I didn't run over my dogs. Oh, so I have these lens. I have all different colors, and I usually put it on and look into the lens of I have read, so action, and how they see things. And if I need to switch, I put on another glasses to understand their perspective.
Wow.
So
That's
it gets really deep. And I actually, with the Morning Warriors, I implement this and I restructure it because I realized I haven't been adding it and I've been really sad. And my inner child had bursted out and said, I want to play. So now I'm into actually putting this stuff into Morning Warriors now and structuring it in a way that everybody gets to learn at a very basic level, nothing too deep, but deep enough to help you make that next move, to thrive, as we call it, and to be unstoppable. And so, yeah, that's it's a heavy impact when you really get to understand it beyond the buying behaviors. This is based off the buying behaviors. So if you're a salesperson, you will know DISC or 16 personality. We call it's the same but different, as Sherry points out. It's different because it's actually focused on the buying behaviors and not the psychology or anything like that. It's literally scientifically proven. All the knowledges, we have the white paper for it. So if you want to go deep and see all the testing, I'll send it to you privately. I don't have it open. And then, yeah, it's life-changing. It has literally changed my life. My boyfriend had spiritually awakened during this journey, which was unexpected because I predicted 5 years. He did it in 4 years. And I was like, oh, I'm not ready. But I had to be, right?
yeah, ready or not.
Yeah. And everybody, even just telling you that part and telling about your code has impacted so many people already. And I'm like, you just know yours. She's like, that's all I need to know. And they've gotten better relationship with the kids. I'm like, wow, just off of that one breakdown. Of course, you get a report. So if you do crack your code, you get the report. And that report, you see so many freaking layers. They're like, hey, honey, I want to try this. And you guys will try it and see it everywhere. It's so much fun. I'm redoing my website and all that. So if this comes out at that time, my email will have a scavenger game. And that's when you get to really test it out and try it. So when that comes out, it will be available. So if you guys do opt in, if there is an opt in at this point,
yeah,
you guys can have the scavenger. If not, just inbox me on Facebook and I'll just send it and just like have fun.
that's awesome. So I love hearing you talk. I can see the aliveness in there, and that's thriving again too, right? You just know you're like plugged in to the right circuit.
Yeah.
And so with the bank, everybody is all for, right? But it's
Mhm.
the order that
Yeah.
that each individual is, and then different parts can come out at different times, right? Like
Yes, I tell
yeah,
people you weave in and out. You're not just one code. You're a combination of all four. And you actually want to raise your vibration on each code. So that's what I've been doing for 2.5 years is you actually, the next advanced test, I should say, is a 20-question test. And when I do that with my one-on-one clients, I get to see their weaknesses and strength. And so I move their weaknesses up or their strength if they really want to focus on it. But once you hit 20 and above, you become unstoppable. So like when you take mine is 25. That's the highest number. 21, 21, 20. When I first got started, I think I actually have it. Oh, I don't have it available. Maybe. Nope, I don't have it available. Oh, yeah, I do. My very first one was 25, 20, 18, and 17 when I first got started. So I was already high as it is.
yeah.
Because I have all personality. And you get to really see how your life you were living in too, based off your code.
Yeah.
Because like for me, I was living backwards. I
Okay.
lived a blueprint, fun of knowledge, action hit in 20. I was 25. What was that? 2015? Yeah, 2015. Forgot what year that was. 2015. And now in 2020, I lived my nurturing side. So I get to see how it's traveling throughout my life. And I get to understand, oh, I was never thriving because I was too busy surviving out of alignment. And that's how I could tell, and how I just love to talk. I can talk for hours on this. And sometimes it's too much for most people because they're like, okay, we got too deep. I was like, okay, yeah, my brain is like already 20 steps ahead. You're
You're all
new.
excited, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they see all these connections, and it's just, there's no words to describe it. It's like a
Yeah.
beautiful abstract art that just keeps on creating itself with colors.
Ooh, what a nice visual. I love that. And I was thinking about how both of your kind of titles, um, how well they work together. What you do with networking and personalities, like it is all about the connections that you're making about the person, like understanding them and what they do and who else to connect with. And so you thrive in that equation because you're using your superpowers, and then you get to watch other people thrive. And how satisfying.
Yeah. If I know both players, both connections,
Yeah.
I'll even tell them what their code is and how they can communicate better
Mm,
if they need it. Some people already know, so I don't even bother. Some
yeah.
people do, and they're like, okay, this person is nurturing. This is what you do. Hey, this person's knowledge. Give them all the information. Don't hold back. If you think it's over too much, like too much information, nah. They
Not for
freaking
knowledge.
eat it all up. Like I tell people, give me all of it. I'm not a knowledge, but my knowledge is strong. So I was like, give me all the information. I don't get overwhelmed. I actually thrive in that. And I love chaos because chaos is actually simple for me. Simple is chaotic for me. That's
Yeah.
why I don't understand simple. So everything I do has to be very chaotic for me to understand. And I get it. I'm a warrior, right? Hence the name.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are you, all of this, what are you up to in 2023 to help your own thriving, to like, and what's the next just like logical and yet inspired step for you personally and professionally?
Such a good question here. So while I'm doing my healing and my higher self is getting clearer and clearer, a map was already drawn out for me. How I could do that map, I had no idea. So I took it step by step. And I actually got a back end support. We're figuring out her title because she's like all in one. She has like 10 people in one, almost maybe 20. I kind of lost track.
Wow.
And yeah, it's amazing. Like the universe has literally gave me the support I needed. So one of my biggest problem is actually accomplishing the goals in a timely fashion that gets it done. For me, I dream big, but my reality never matches it or matches it in a very small way. So now that I have my person in the back, and I have a team. I have 3 people, my VA, my accountability for marketing, and I'm going to just call her a storyteller. She's my storyteller consultant. I'm just going to say that. She's much more than that. And then I have me. We all fill in the BIN code. So we have the B, the A, the N, and the K.
That's
And
beautiful.
in human design, we have all 4 major ones besides reflector. And then each one of us fills in all 6 lines and all 6, what do you call that? Strategy, I think. The strategy energy. So ego, sacral, splenic, or spleen, and emotional. So we fill in all of them. And so now my goal is to launch level 2. So my program is gaming. It's a game level. I love playing games. I love going up to the next level. Everyone's like, go to the next level. But what is the next level? So I made it into 4 levels. Level 1 was my morning warriors. So for that goal, is to call in 100. They say 135. My higher self gave me that number, odd number. I'm like, all right. And the math works. So I was like, let's do it. So 135 new members is my goal, which, by the way, December, we haven't, oh wait, this is not December. Am I? No, wrong month. This is January. So yeah, for this year, it will be 135 new members is my goal, my targeted goal, because the matching will be so impactful. It's going to ripple out to maybe 100,000. Like I can see that ripple because I don't need much. It just goes. And having level 1 in this playful, fun community, just, for legion, for sales, for real authentic connections, everything you just want to play in, your own tribe. And then I will actually be opening level 2 in February. Okay, so it's I'm playing with the level 2, the twos. I'm playing with twos. Level 2, it's $22.22, right? The price. And it's for 2 months, for 2 weeks, for 2 hours. So it's going to be open in February 22nd of 2003.
Of course.
Yes. In my first round, we're having a partner. So you have another 2.
I love it.
I just love playing with the numbers.
Playful.
So yes. So my goal for that is to either have an evergreen where people can just come in and play, or maybe every quarter open a class and just really engage. I wanted to be very small and very cultivated and really connect to everybody. I don't want a big giant, 500 people in a room. Like, no. I like the personal, like I'm a nurturer. And my goal for that is 45 people. That's the number that popped up. And I'm going with the numbers that showcases the self. So however that turns out to be, and having my back end support, it's possible now.
Yeah.
Now I asked her, we're doing the goal setting. I did ask her, I was like, so is level 3 and 4 possible to open? She's like, oh yeah. For me, I'm like, I don't know yet. So I will maybe opening up level 3 and 4. We'll see. I am just going to go with the motion and what the universe is telling me at that time and feeling into it. So if it is called for me to open, I will open. And level 3 is a 3-month program, playing on the numbers again. And my max is only 20 people because now it's optimization. This is where, so level 2 is cultivation. That's where you get that cultivation of what I do. And now level 3 is optimizing that cultivation in 6 different intelligence. Yeah, there's more intelligence than just emotional. And that's when we go really deep and you're just on a different playing field. Now, level 4 is actually not playing with the numbers, but it's a whole year and it's a mentorship. But I do play with the numbers on how many people I want to serve, and that's only 4 people. Because it's going to be really one-on-one, very personable. And I can only hold 4, maybe 5, but I like the number 4 right now. So it's been popping up everywhere. I'm like, okay, I get it. Thank you. And it's like reaping the rewards. You're actually seeing your results. And that level 4 is not just optimizing, but becoming that unstoppable warrior inside of you fully and completely. We're taking all 4 codes. We're going to be living in those 4 codes, and we're going to raise everything up above 20. And if you don't raise about 20, we're going to be more than a year. I will still work with you, depending on how far the leap is.
Yeah.
There's people who are at 6, and the leap is going to be a lot. So that might be a year or 2, depending on that transformation. Because I want people to thrive on each code and really feel into it. Because when you do, this is the life you get to live. Like,
unstoppable.
Yeah. Thriving with other unstoppable warriors.
Yes. Ooh, thriving in proximity of more thriving.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's my plan. It was a tiny goal and now it's a huge, it keeps growing in my head. Here's the difference. I've noticed though, every time I set a goal and vision what my next year would be, it was very mushy, like very dark. I couldn't really see it. I could see the possibility, but it was never for the next year, but I forced it to be.
Yeah.
This time, I see it actually happening and pushing forward, and it's collapsing time. And I'm like, I'm not ready. But I am. I'm totally ready, and I have the support, I have the knowledge, I have everything, and it's literally what the universe has been giving me in these sections. It took longer than most people to come in, they blast. Well, I went into my personal journey first, then my business open. I just tested my business just to have fun. That's just me having fun. And now I get to really expand it, and it's like it's happening. And I had one small goal. Apparently, the universe has something else planned. And I'm like, no, no, no. But we'll see. We'll see. So my impact is to help around 200 beautiful souls, or even more, or even greater, as
Or
one of
something
my
great.
favorite mentors always say.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Ooh, thanks for sharing that. I feel like it's always powerful too to say, what our intentions are, what our dreams are, to say it out loud, to share with somebody that is supportive. It We feel the power in one another's desires. And so I appreciate you sharing that. And I also feel like sometimes it gives us ideas too, like, oh, I like that as well. Or like, oh, that feels big and I'm ready to step into big or whatever. So we can really get empowered just, saying it out loud and hearing one another's um, intentions out loud.
Exactly.
And man, this has been so fun and so much relevant material. And I'm so excited that people can check out what else Dorothy has, how to interact with Dorothy and learn more um, by checking out all of the links below and the information. And I'm
Yeah.
just feeling so much appreciation for you and having you in my life and all that you do. Mm.
I love it. That was pretty
Oh.
hard too. Look, I finally did it. I'm getting better. I'm very honored to actually have this interview with you, because when you first told me, I was like, oh my God, somebody wants to interview me. I started crying. I was like, honey, look. He was like,
Oh.
what? Like, I got interviewed. I'm like, okay, great. He didn't even know. I didn't say anything. But that's the knowledge type. They got to know more information.
Right. Tell me more.
Yeah. And I love this. Like, I was nervous in the beginning, but this is so much fun. I think you got my addiction of going down these rabbit holes and just getting interviewed.
See, and then it's, we feel the power when you are in your superpowers talking about what excites you. Like time just speaking of collapsing, like I can't believe almost an hour has gone by, and it just feels so good and so natural. And um yeah, it's just so nice to share. So that was a big part of my intention, is to, these amazing people I've been meeting like you, I want more people to know about you, and each of us to get inspired in our own way to just really own your superpowers, so you can
Exactly.
go out there and just thrive naturally.
And that's actually one of my powers, is inspiration through joy. And I was like, I
Because
thought that was,
you've used the word fun and playful a lot, and so that makes sense to me. um
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, my inner
seriously.
child is totally out today. And it's like, we get to have fun, playtime.
And that can all be so, like the grown-up world is about productivity and all these things. Guess what? You can, when you connect with that, all that fun and that joy and that passion and that excitement, it can be productive. You can be prosperous. You can be all of those things. Like it doesn't have to be serious and staunch and in fact,
Yeah,
that just kind of takes the,
I'm not a grown up. I'll act maybe a little bit,
yeah.
but I'm a child at heart. I play. I don't take anything serious. I think this is my first grown up shirt I wore. I was like, let me have just something nice. It's usually a tank top, my robe, just all cuddle up with my coffee. Like, we're just mean ass humans. We're
Life
not
is
living in a corporate
good.
world.
Yes. Oh my
It's
gosh.
our jungle. We make our own rules.
That's right. That's right. That's a good part of thriving as well.
Yep.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Dorothy. And I'm just super excited to see, to witness your thriving in 2023.
Thank you. Yes.
Woohoo!
I can't wait to meet everybody else who end up watching this and just showcasing who you are. Because I love to meet you heart to heart more than anything else. It's always a heart to heart connection. Then, whatever I get in my head, then I'll let you know.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day, my friend.
Bye, guys.